Well, cue the music because it is Wednesday and we are making our first small town live stop this season. Now we're in Camp County taking the time to highlight all things Pittsburgh today. That's where we find KETK's Neal Barton. Neal, how's it going out there?
It's fine, it's hot, but we're all doing quite well. I'm sitting here by his honor here, David Abernathy, who's his honor of Pittsburg, Texas, spelling the right way, right?
Correct. Pittsburgh without an H.
How did they ever make that mistake up there?
Have no idea. We got it right.
So if we're at the airport, Dallas-Fort Worth Airport, and sharing a glass of iced tea, and I came up to you and said, Mayor of Pittsburg, Texas, what in the world is going on in Pittsburg, Texas?
Well, I tell you, we're first of all, Neal, we really appreciate you being here with us and putting us on the spotlight. We have a historical center downtown. It's built in the 1880s. We have two world-class museums here. One of the museums houses an Ezekiel airship, which was a third-scale model of the original one, which flew a year before the Wright brothers. So we have people from all over the world that come in to see that. In that museum, it's also built into a railroad depot that was built here in the 1880s, and it's one of the oldest buildings in Camp County. And in that facility, we also have a race car, not a race car, I'm sorry, a Shelby GT 350 built and designed by Carroll Shelby.
I was going to say, so pretty much the obvious, Carroll Shelby. A lot of young folks in our newsroom had no idea who he was, but he's a big deal. Tell us who he is. Tell us what he won.
Carroll Shelby was born and raised about 8 miles to the west of here in a little community called Leesburg.
Yeah.
And spent a lot of time in Pittsburgh, had 2 ranches here in Camp County, spent a lot of his time between here in California, and he was a race car driver that just went from driving dirt tracks literally in the 1950s, and 2 years later was in demand by all the top world famous all the top race car designers in Europe were seeking him to be their driver just 2 years later. So he won the famous, which is undoubtedly one of the most grueling races in history, is Le Mans, the 24 Hours Le Mans. He was one of the winners of that, and was on Sports Illustrated Driver of the Year cover right after that.
And tell us more about the guy who just won to sell a fat yellow chicken.
Bo Pilgrim.
He put a lot of money in this area.
He did. Lonnie A. Bo Pilgrim. You're standing in Pilgrim's Plaza, which was one of his brainchilds. In back of us is a prayer tower. He was a very religious man, and he wanted that to be a centerpiece for Pittsburgh as well.
It's quite beautiful. The bells are beautiful.
It really is. It's a chapel. It's opened pretty well 24 hours a day, and has a reflecting pond there, and again, people travel from all over to see it as well.
So right now you and I can reflect it. It's both hot. Maybe we should go and wade into the reflecting pond. Would that be against the law?
Good. Well,
don't do it.
Might. we wouldn't encourage it. How about that?
Before we wrap up, anything else we should know?
Well, I think we have quaint shops here in Pittsburgh. We have wineries. We're famous for the hot links, the Pittsburgh hot links.
Come on, baby.
Yes, the Pittsburgh peaches. So a lot of things to see and do here. We have quaint stores. I don't want to paint the picture that we're all just an old town. Yeah. Quaint stores. If you have someone that's hard to shop for, we can pretty well fix them up here.
I was surprised by all the orchards.
Yes, and we had many more. Years ago, that was one of the claim to fame here, the railroads that were in Pittsburgh. Yeah. We had run railroads that ran north, south, east, and west.
Wow.
So Pittsburgh was a destination for canneries. There were canneries here for peaches, and
you got it
there
going
were a number of orchards, yes.
Well, I appreciate your time, and thank you very much for being with us. We really appreciate you. All right.